have Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I don't have a hadith, but let's start off with tilawat. Let me just share my screen. Okay. Jahid. Assalamu alaikum, Jahid. Jahid. Okay. His mic's not possibly working. Atif, you on the call?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Okay. Can you just do the translation of the verse 36, please?
Remember when the woman of Imran said,
Yes.
My Lord, I have vowed to thee.
Do the tilawat properly.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إذ قالت امرأة عمران رب إني نذرت لك ما في بطني محررا فتقبل مني إنك أنت السميع العليم. Remember when the woman of Imran said, My Lord, I have vowed to thee what is in my womb to be dedicated to thy service. So do accept it of me. Verily, thou alone art all-hearing, all-knowing.
Jazakallah. Regarding the Waqf scheme, I have the message which was delivered by Khalifa Rabi when he initiated the scheme of the Waqf, and this is basically the part of this speech of the Friday sermon when he delivered it. Ahmed Bhai, can I ask you to read this for me, please? Ansar Bhai? Is he on the call?
Sorry. Okay, so on the 3rd of April 1987, after receiving divine guidance, the head of Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih IV, Rahmatullah alayhi, called on Ahmadis to devote the lives of the children for the cause of the community and bring them up in such a way that they would grow up to willingly sacrifice everything for the sake of God. Accordingly, this generation would be able to shoulder the responsibility of the Jamaat in 2nd century. Rasul called this scheme Tehreek-e-Waqf. Initially, the scheme was launched for 2 years, but this was later extended to 4, and after that, the scheme was made permanent with the added clause that those parents who wish to devote the lives of their children must do it before their birth. Today, Tehreek-e-Waqf is a thriving institution in which thousands of Ahmadis devote the lives of their children for the sake of Jamaat, and every day this number continues to swell. Let God enable the children of this scheme to fulfill the numerous challenges that lie ahead of them in the best possible way. Ameen.
Jazakallah. Babu Sahib, if you want to take over.
Yes, Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Just going to share quickly this one. So this is the second lesson that we're having. Alhamdulillah, we started last week with just introduction of Waqf and what makes a Waqf special. So today we're going to go over something a little bit different, and what we will learn today, what we'll cover today, is understand the sacrifice our parents made. Go through the syllabus a little bit and check out the Ismail magazine, and we'll go through that. Then we'll have like a small little quiz at the end. So like last time, I mentioned that we're going to go through this book, which is the essence of Waqf. Basically, in this book, guys, you basically really understand your responsibility, because Waqf are now becoming parents as well. I'm Waqf as well. I also have kids. So for me, to be born in the scheme and now to become a parent is a double responsibility. So what I want everyone to know is that you really have to pray a lot for your parents. This really is the key message in today's lesson, because they made a sacrifice, and we'll learn more about that sacrifice before we were even born, when we were still in the bellies of our mothers. So inshallah, we're going to go through this book. It's about 23 pages. We're not going to go through the whole thing today, obviously, just a few pages. But just like last time, I just get a few paragraphs and everyone will just read one paragraph each, and then we'll just talk about it a little bit. Tiga, and then we'll do some other stuff. But firstly, let's understand the role of our parents. So Jahid, can you read the first one? So whenever I say your name, just turn your mic on and then you can turn it back off, okay? So Jahid, if you can just read this bit quickly. If you could turn your mic on. I think your mic's off, bro.
His mic is on and camera.
Can you hear him?
He's not saying anything, I think. If you, Hajjad, if you're using hands-free, just take it out again and put it back in into your device.
Daily,
Yeah.
I can hear you
Mike.
now.
daily I receive letters from parents, sometimes numbering between 20 to 25 in one day. In which parents humbly request their Waqf to accept their yet to be born child.
Yeah, so 20 to 25, Jazakallah Jahid, 20 to 25 letters every single day from around the world. People are asking Hazur that they want to dedicate their child into Waqf scheme. So people realize that this is very blessed, and everyone on this call, they are also very blessed to be in this scheme. But we have such a great responsibility, and that responsibility initially lies with our parents. So they also did the same thing. They wrote to Huzur, they asked Huzur if we could be in that scheme, and Alhamdulillah, Huzur accepted it. But it doesn't stop there. A lot of people, sometimes parents, they think, just my child being a Waqf is enough. But there's such a huge responsibility on them initially. And then it gets passed over to us. So we'll just understand this a bit more. So Arham, could you read the next one, please?
Yeah, sure.
Jazakallah.
But the parents' responsibilities do not end merely by presenting their children. Rather, they increase more than before. Obviously, the parent is responsible for their child's moral training, and parents want the best for their child.
Jazakallah. So again, Arham, can I just keep you on? Do you understand what you just read? Could you just explain a little bit of what you understand from it?
Okay.
I know sometimes when you read, you don't know what you're saying, so you have to read it.
So I'm trying to read it through again.
Yeah.
Okay. It says the parents' responsibilities do not end merely by presenting their children, rather they increase more than before. So I'm not really sure what that means. Like, I can't put it into a sentence.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I think you know what it means.
More responsibilities, like as they're deciding about their child. I'm not really sure.
Yeah. Can anyone else explain that? Because anyone has a better understanding. You can help out. Maybe the older guys.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
This is Hanif Marty.
Yes.
I suppose it's really saying that you might think that, well, as soon as you join the scheme, or as soon as your child is part of the scheme, the parents might think, oh, my job's over now. It's in God's hands now. They're a Waqf now, that they'll be a perfect person. But actually, by dedicating them to the scheme, they're actually saying that they are going to raise them to be kind of true to try and fulfill those kind of desires that that Huzur has asked of us. And that starts with how our parents raise us and what kind of values that they instill in us.
It's
So that's
perfect.
actually putting a greater burden on themselves.
Exactly, Dr. Nisab. And this is exactly what we're trying to understand. And just to understand it a little bit better, we are all Ahmadis, but if we don't act like Ahmadis, then we aren't living up to the standard that we are supposed to be. And Hazrat Masih Maud gave a really beautiful example of this. When a Muslim, he wasn't a good Muslim, he tried to convert someone from a different faith. And that person said to me, look, before you preach to me, look at yourself and try to fix yourself first. Just having a name doesn't mean anything. You have to live up to that name. He said that I have a son who is called Khalid, and someone who's called Khalid means you have a long, a long life. But after one day after being born, he passed away. So just having a name doesn't mean necessarily that you'll have the characteristics of that name. It's about using the name and trying to really do your very best to become a shining example and become the true meaning of that name. So same with being Waqf. Just because you have the tag of being Waqf, it doesn't mean anything. It only will mean something. And we did this last week about becoming special is if you fulfill the requirements of becoming a Waqf, true Waqf. And firstly, that's initially with the parents. So this is what Hanif Saab, you explained as well. So Nisa, can I get you onto the next one as well, please? Jazakallah.
Sure thing. It must also be remembered that from the beginning, every child, and especially a Waqf child, is a trust of the Jamaat. Parents, therefore, are responsible for their moral training and must ensure that they are an exemplary section of the Jamaat and society at large.
Yeah. So yeah, here again, there's two parts to this. So the first part, Hanif Saab, what does this mean to you that a Waqf child is a trust of the Jamaat?
I suppose the way I understand it is that almost that when our parents do the prayer of the Mother of Mary, really they're saying, like she is saying, that we don't belong to our family and our parents anymore. We belong to God and we belong to the Jamaat. And actually the parents are just taking temporary responsibility of raising us in the initial stages until we're ready to be of service to the Jamaats to whom we truly belong.
Yeah, exactly. And this is exactly why many of you, when you go for mulakat, you tell Huzur, what do you want me to do with my life? Where do you want me to go? And that's this line here of saying that we are a trust of the Jamaat. We are a piece of the Jamaat that one day we will be used for a good for the Jamaat. And that's the whole point of you having all this training when you're young. You're fully equipped with all the knowledge and all the morals that you need. So when Huzur finally calls you, or that letter finally comes through your door, that Jamaat needs you in a certain place, then you'll be ready to go. And we'll understand in the next few paragraphs of when you have that training, then you willingly will start to make those decisions yourself, and you won't see it as a burden. If Huzur says, go to Africa and serve some time there in a hospital or in a school, you will happily do it. And because you had that training. And so this is why it's so important to understand all of these things. It's the Jamaat that gave you all these opportunities, all the knowledge that you have. And so you must continue that later on and become grateful. Atif, could you read this one, small one?
This is no ordinary responsibility which the parents of Waqf children pledge to God.
Yes, this is no ordinary responsibility. So your parents could easily have totally ignored it, and they could have just let you be born and let you raise up into Atfal Ahmadiyya as everyone else. But they wanted to go that one step further with all of you, and they wanted have one child or children in your family to be dedicated to that cause. So that's why it's a big decision. It's not something which is small. So that's why we shouldn't just, our parents shouldn't just stop there when we're born and we get accepted. You should take that big responsibility, that decision that you made right at the start, and continue in the manner. And that's why we have this syllabus, which is really important for everyone to understand. Atrisab, could you read this? I know we read it at the start as well, Watif, with your tilawat.
Assalamualaikum.
Yeah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي إني نذرت لك ما في بطني محررا فتقبل مني إنك أنت السميع العليم. I seek a free Allah from Satan the accursed in the name of Allah, most gracious, ever merciful. O my Lord, whatever is in my womb, I give to thee. I do not know if this is a boy or a girl, but whatever it is to be, it is my desire and prayer that they become a servant of faith. So do accept this desire and prayer of mine. Thou art all hearing, all knowing.
Yeah. So could you just continue with just to explain this? Just read this one as well, please.
Allah the Almighty loved this prayer so much and preserved it so that in the future mothers may also offer this prayer and prepare their children to offer extraordinary sacrifices for the sake of religion.
Yes, that's exactly what it's about. And Allah the Almighty loved this dua of Hazrat Maryam. And as you know, Hazrat Maryam has also been mentioned, is a chapter in the Holy Quran, but this dua gives us that opportunity. And this is why Khalifa Rabi Rahmullah started the Waqf scheme, because such a great sacrifice was made in history that we were able to follow. And so mothers, more than anyone, as is mentioned here, have this opportunity to fulfill that dua of Hazrat Maryam as well. So that's just when we're always reading this, whenever we're mentioning Waqf, we always quote this surah. So it's good to remember, and it's good to learn from it as well. Lastly, Abid, could you just read this one as well? Last one.
Yes. They will not grow up thinking that we will become a businessman, a professional athlete, or will enter such and such profession. Instead, they will ask that as I am a Waqf now, I wish for the Khalifa of the time and the Jamaat to tell me which field to enter.
Gaitab, Ansab, could you just quickly explain that one as well? I know we touched upon it already. Sorry, Gaitab.
So basically, I guess the purpose is to grow them up with a tarbiyat that, they don't think they're like, they don't go for worldly professions, but, be guided from Huzur and Jamaat as to what profession to take.
It's been, I think the ideal thing is, the real meaning is, exactly perfect what you said. But also, it's quoting businessman, athlete, and etc. It's not specifically just those things which take you away from religion. And if you do have some sort of work which can benefit the Jamaat, for example, then it's okay to go into that. If you feel that it will benefit the Jamaat one day, then it's okay. But really, that's why Zur always concentrates Waqf on becoming doctors and teachers and murabbis as well, because that can directly affect the Jamaat in some sort of way. And that's why beloved Huzur has always said that every child should be raised with the intention or with the idea in their mind that they will go to Jamia. Because if they do that, then it's like when you raise the bar the highest, you'll always get the most out of something. And so if you raise it to that level, then your child will also learn so many things and be molded in such a way that he will, if he doesn't go to Jamia, it's up to him, it's his choice, end of the day. But if he doesn't go there, then he will still be of that same moral quality to go into other fields. And so that was a short, quick explanation of, I think it was just first 3 or 4 pages of the book, of the essence of Waqf. So now we're just going to look at the Ismail magazine. If you haven't looked at it already, I was showing it at the beginning. So this is an edition July, September, and here I'm showing you now is the edition of October, December. So quarterly magazine. So it's really good to get this, and I think the Waqf secretaries, some Waqf said they don't have it, so you guys should really register them so that it comes to them every quarterly. It will come to your house and you can read through it. And there's loads of interesting things. They interview Waqf as well, so they find out where they've gone to and how they've advanced in their life and how they succeeded in their work. So that's really nice to read. And also they have, like I said before, they have all these little nice comics which teach you, there's a moral teaching to it at the end of it. And I just wanted to read one of them as well, just for you to get the taste of this magazine, because they've made it more interested and more suited to you. So Arham, can I get you to read it? I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Can you let me know if you can read that? Is it clear for you?
I guess I can try and read a bit of it.
Yeah, if you can't, I don't know if I can zoom in. I can't really zoom in.
Yeah, I'll try.
Okay.
So, morals, the 4 students. There were 4 friends who hated studying. They played games throughout their school holidays. They didn't study before their exams. Friends realized they hadn't studied and planned to skip their test by lying to their teacher. So they went to the teacher and told her that they had been on a family trip up north and returned the previous night. On their way home from the train station, their taxi had a little tire, a flat tire. They continued to say that they had to push the car all the way back as the driver didn't have a spare tire and therefore were not in a state to sit the exam. Their teacher listened and agreed to let them take the test on a later date. Happy that they got a second chance, the 4 friends studied hard and were ready for the exam this time. On the day of the exam, the teacher asked the students to sit in separate classrooms, which the students agreed to. The examination paper had only 2 questions for a total of 100 marks. Moral of the story: the responsibility for your Ruby Sav, I can't see it because again your picture's in the bottom right corner.
Okay. I think there's take your responsibility for your actions or you'll end up paying the price. Do you guys understand this? Hanif, maybe you could explain it a bit as well. Don't know if you're following.
I suppose, well, in the story, it's clear that the teacher outsmarts the kids by catching them out on that initial lie that they made. I suppose it's a general message that, you know, it's better to own up for the mistakes that you make at that time. And had they maybe just apologized and said, "Oh, we haven't studied. Would you kindly, we'll study hard. Would you give us a chance to take it next week?" Maybe they would have had a fair chance. But they wanted to save face, so they made up a story. And it costs them in the end.
Yeah, perfect. And this can be applied in, I think, so many things in life as well. Sometimes we don't want to really do something, so we tend to bend the truth or even say a lie. And you know, for anyone it's wrong, but especially we're always talking about Waqf not being the best examples. So if you have ever made a mistake, you know, it's better to own up in that moment. Otherwise you'll end up like these 4 kids here, and we don't want that. Especially with anything really. Sometimes even, for example, with namaz, you know, sometimes your parents, they will ask you, have you done your namaz? So it's better to say, no, I haven't, and to go and do it in the moment that they ask you, rather than saying, you know, you make up a story and you tell them you have done it, then you'll feel even worse than before. So try your best, do your best to always tell the truth, and always to take that responsibility upon your head. So this is just one thing that's in the magazine. Ismail magazine is really incredible. So Hakeem Saab, if you can look into it, to just try to get all the Waqf enrolled onto this. and I'll get Farhan Sab as well from Walsall. So that was it. Just a few more things with the syllabus. I think I don't know if you guys have been through this. I'm just going to
You want
show
me to
you.
open it on here? I got it open, the syllabus.
Yeah, I have it open as well. Let me just. I don't know if I can share my screen. Yeah. So guys, this you can have it, the physical copy, you can also have it online. Can everyone see this? So I chose the 7 to 15, but there's also the 15 to 21. So the older guys, you can also go through it, but what you should always do is try to just start from the beginning. There's 1 to 7. I think most guys will know most things, but still go through it and work your way up, because sometimes you miss a lot of things. Some things which you might not enjoy, but you should try to learn as many things as you can to be fully equipped. So we're going to set a target and try to look at your age group and try to do one thing. And next week we're just going to highlight that thing and let's try do our best to learn each thing. So like with, for example, 7 to 8, you should know the azan and try to learn the translation. So I don't think anyone on the call right now is in 7 to 8. I think, Arham, you guys are like 11, 12, right? Arham, Atif, Jahid.
Yeah, 12.
I'm 13.
Year 13 or year 13, I'm not really sure.
Like, are you in your first 6 months? Because it's split into first 6 months and second 6 months.
February, March, April. I'm in my first 6 months.
I've learned some stuff from 12 to 13 when I was 12.
That's good. So basically, you can. It's a really short booklet, and you guys can do it really quickly, and especially for the age group. We were doing it as well. I remember doing it also with the classes before. We were going through it, but it's so difficult because everyone's of different ages, and when you have all the kids in one room, you guys remember as well how hectic it was teaching the different age groups. But now because we can do it online, everyone can do it individually. So with the first 6 months, split up into Quran. You can learn Surah Al-Baqarah, verses 1 to 17. Many of you should know that, but I remember telling you as well before that you should go over this. So try do that as well. Take your time. It's the first six months, so you have time. But we're just going to use these classes just to remind each other to do those things. So you have Quran, you have different hadiths, you have different prayers. Nazms as well. So work on those areas which you are weak on. Learn about Allah's names. Learn about Hazrat Masih Maud Islam. So these are a few things. If we go to Atif, you say you're 13. You're going 13.
Yeah.
The first 6 months of 13.
First 6 months.
Yeah. So again, it's all the same things, but it obviously gets a little bit harder each time. Learning different verses, all of these things. So just go through them. We're just going to keep reminding you in all of these lessons. Hanif Saab, Qaid Saab, Atar Saab, you guys are the older guys. It does get a lot harder. We are I think we're all over 21, but please look at the ages below, because I know even for myself, like you miss so many things, we forget some things, so it's good to go over them. And they've updated the syllabus as well. Before, I think it was very black and white. It wasn't as fun to go through, but now they've added color, they've added pictures. So for ages 21 and above, you have all of these things. You have translation, you have commentary of the Holy Quran, memorizing parts of the Holy Quran, the Hadith, the history of Islam, history of Ahmadiyyat, and all of etc. etc. So I just wanted to share that just to make sure everyone knows about the syllabus. If you don't have it, you can access it online very easily. The website is here. Just type in Waqf now Ahmadiyyat and it'll be the first thing that comes up. So sorry, B?
I'm getting the link for just send it out. 1 second.
I just have a few questions for you guys. It's from last week's lesson. So try to do a quiz from each of the previous weeks so that you guys are remembered from last week as well. So there's 3 questions. I don't know how we're going to say it. You guys can shout out the answer, or just you can watch me put the answer up. So I can, Habib, can I ask the first question? Is that okay while you find the link?
Yes, go on.
So what date did Khalifa Rabi Rahimahullah receive divine revelation to start the Waqf scheme? Does anyone remember?
Was said just today.
Literally said today. It was repeated. Kaisab, I think you read it out.
Was it 4th of April 1987?
Let's see the answer.
It's the 3rd.
3rd April 1980. This is not bad. 3rd of April 1987. Guys, remember the date. This was the date which Rahimahullah received this divine revelation of starting the Waqf scheme. 3rd of April 1987. Try and remember it. We'll try to do it again next week. Just remember the date. 3rd April 1987. Okay, complete the sentence. Waqf should grow up to blank, sacrifice everything for the sake of God.
Willingly.
Willingly.
Good that everyone knows. There you go. Willingly. Okay. Waqf should grow up to willingly sacrifice everything for the sake of God. And one more question. Complete the sentence again. Waqf are very special, but they will have to prove that they are ahead of others in their relationship with
Allah.
teacher, friends, students, Allah. Let's see if you're right. There you go. MashaAllah. So that's a few little questions just to get a taste. We'll keep working on it from next week. Just to end today's class, we tried to keep it half an hour, so we started a little bit late. But everyone tried to join at 5 o'clock on the dot so that we can get through it quickly. Go through the syllabus, as I said, look at your age. You can find it on the website. Stay up to date with the classes. If you want to go over anything, you can always follow the YouTube link to watch anything. And also remember to pray for your parents who dedicated you for the Jamaat. That's very important. Read the dua, Rabbir Hamhuma Kama Rabbayani Saghira. That Allah have mercy on both of my parents who gave me tarbiyat when I was very young. So I think Abir, you sent the link for the syllabus, yeah? Did he? Yeah, I think he sent the link for all the age groups. So guys, look at that. And if you have any questions, you can ask me. Has anyone got anything to say? Dr. Saabs. Tiga. Okay, guys. I think we're good to go. Jazakallah everyone for joining. This is once a week, every Thursday at 5 o'clock. Put it in your agendas, in your diaries. And Jazakallah for joining. Abir, do you have anything to say before we close?
No, I would only just say that if possible, have something prepared for tilawat or hadith for each week, or just provide it to you every week if you want me to.
No, I think we should. I told Farhan this as well. I think we should just tell one atfal, one of the guys, to tell them in beforehand, give them one hadith and one tilawat, and it will be better that way. We can do a rota, and we know the amount of people.
All right. Okay.
So, Hakeem Sahab, how many? I don't know if you're listening. How many Waqf now do we have in Wolverhampton?
Yeah.
I think he left.
Acha, he left. Okay, no worries.
We have about 6 khuddam, I think. The Waqf.
6 khuddam.
No, at least 5 actually. So Hanifai, Nayab, myself, Atharbhai, Mazhabhai. These are the khuddam. Rafi might be. I think Rafi as well. So that's 6.
With Raja Umair Saeed.
That's Umar by his children. His children are Waqf.
Okay. Tiga. So yeah, Bir Sahab, we just make a rota and then just keep changing it each week, and that's the best way. Tiga?
All right. Okay. I will get on to that. Jazakallah.
Jazakallah everyone for joining. Inshallah, see you next week. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.